Namaste YouTube, welcome to Cafe Enoma and welcome to our reaction to the STYLISTICS. This is gonna be for their song People Make the World Go Round. And this one is a Patreon request by our patron Stacy. The best part is that we are gonna react to the same song by two different artists. So it will be happening back to back. After we listen to the original now by the STYLISTICS, we'll be reacting to Angela Bofill doing the same song. So it is going to be very interesting how both of them compare.
Yeah, this is the original one, I suppose,
Yes.
that we are listening
From
to first.
1971.
Yeah, so we'll get started with it and then we will listen to the cover and we'll be posting it in the same session, the same day, after maybe a gap of half an hour or so.
Yes.
So that you can enjoy them both and listen to our reaction and analysis on both. Since this is the original, obviously it gets the first preference. Let's get started with our reaction to it. This is a first time.
World go round.
This is a first time single take honest reaction by both of us and a pure reaction as well by Kirti. Let's get started.
Trashmen didn't get my trash today. Oh, why? Because they want more pay. Buses on strike wanna raise and fare so they can help pollute the air. But that's what makes the world go round. The ups and downs of carousel, changing people's hands around. Go underground, young man. People make the world go round. Wall Street losing, don't want every share. They're blaming it on your hair. Big men smoking in their easy chair on a fat cigar without a care. But that's what makes the world go round. The ups and downs of carousel, changing people's hands around. Go underground, young man. People make the world go round.
Wow.
Wow.
This was good.
This
This was
had
good.
so many elements in the song. Musically, a lot of elements, and on top of that, the addition of the flute towards the end
Yeah.
came unexpectedly.
It was just beautiful, you know. I mean, everything, the way it was done, it was just, you know, it sounded so cool to listen to. It's one of those songs which takes you back in time.
Yes.
Especially for me, you know, growing up listening to music like that, you know, listening to a lot of genres of music, but mainly music like that. This was the era, I guess, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. So when growing up in South Mumbai, this was one of the biggest pastimes for people in South Mumbai, I guess. They would listen to all the music that was available, and the only music that was available was of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, if you're talking about the 80s. This is pretty strong. The lyrics are very strong.
Very, very strong.
There were few lines, and then the people make the world go round is repeated most of the time. I would have liked a few more lines about, you know, which are
A bit more.
substantial as far as content goes.
Right.
But the music makes up for it, the voice makes up for it of the lead, the main vocalist of this group or band. There seem to be 5 members in this band. And wonderful, wonderful singing ability displayed by the main singer. Beautiful voice he has. He has such a soothing, sweet, beautiful voice, you know, and you can mistake him for a female vocalist, and I mean that in a good way.
In a good way.
Very respectful way. Then, of course, like Kirti said, the flute infusion. Any song that adds in the flute somehow makes it better, in my opinion. So the flute being added in for so long, 2 to 3 minutes of the song, the end of the song.
Musical part.
Then I think it was the marimba, right?
Marimba.
Or the xylophone.
Yeah,
Like
the
marimba.
ting 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 ting.
So that was very interesting. It was from the beginning till the end, beautifully done. It gave it a very nice oriental kind of touch to it. You know, it was
Yeah.
it was very soulful, very retro, but at the same time it had that oriental feel to it and the Indian feel to it because of the flute. Indian as in not native Indian, but Indian.
Subcontinent.
People from India, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting. I liked it. I liked the music, and it's going to be interesting to hear the
And
cover
the
version of
vocals.
this, because I always have one comment about cover singers, and that is they choose only to highlight the vocals. You know, they choose a version which is vocal, you know, more vocal rich, and they don't focus on the music. Perhaps because they're mainly cover singers. So it would be interesting to see. We have reacted to Angela Bofill just 2 days ago. So it should be interesting to see how this one pans out. You know, the cover by her, what we are going to react to. Because she has an amazingly gifted voice. But then without this infusion of the flute, I'm assuming that won't be there. And even if it's there, it's
Let's
theirs.
not assume,
So
because
without the flute, without the marimba, yes, because she did
a lot
of
yeah.
native music in her earlier song that we
Yes.
reacted to. I don't know if that was a cover too. Was that a cover? Anyway,
Under the moon over the sky.
yeah, these are my thoughts initially. We'll get deeper into the lyrics maybe if you have the time.
Yes.
Kirti, what are your thoughts, your feelings on hearing this?
Yeah, I loved it. The first time when he said, "People make the world go round," that was awesome. That really hits you. You are not prepared for it. You know he's got a good voice. Everything is going well. And then the way he said that line the first time, wow, that was breathtaking. Literally breathtaking. I loved it. I loved his voice and the way he goes about singing.
Yeah.
It is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. If there was a recipe for music, this is the perfect recipe of this music. I loved it. There was a bit of jazz, there was a bit of R&B, there was a bit of, a lot of things put in because of so many instruments being part of one song and beautifully playing in the background, not trying to overpower, not trying to overshadow the theme or the vocalist. Everything just put in layers that it has its own place. Everything had its own place. There were special guitar licks also. Very subtle, very soft. The guitar was doing its own job. So every instrument was treated with a lot of respect. I won't be able to even say how many were used because we don't have that expert ear yet for the instruments. But what I heard, I loved it. And it will be very interesting to see what Angela Bofill has to offer for this song. I guess she didn't make it after a very, very long time. She made it within few years, within 10 years time or so, after the initial release of this
you
one.
have the dates.
I got the years. So I guess
Okay.
when she made it was 1979. And this is 1971.
Okay.
That close, yeah.
What are your thoughts on the lyrics? Because
Yes.
we may not have much time.
I know.
Perhaps you'll look at it in the next
But
reaction.
very quickly, if I have to say about it, it's talking about the paradox or the contradictions or the contrast of the society that we live in. We do the wrong things, but even the right things that we do aren't really that right. This way or that way, we do all foolish things. That's what I, very in a nutshell, I can say.
Yeah.
The garbage man didn't come to pick up my garbage because he wants more raise. Bus drivers or the bus companies on strike because they want better pay and this and that. But whatever we are doing, we just keep going round and round around the same things. We don't really get out of things. We don't really do anything out of ordinary. We just keep doing that daily thing, and in that we are always stuck. That's the kind of thing I get. And there is much deeper lines too. And for this the kind of lyrics this is, I would say less is more.
Yeah, there was a talk of Wall Street and the big bosses on the chair smoking their big fat cigars. There were a few lines which do give a reflection of society, perhaps at that time.
Yeah.
Some of those lines may be even relevant
today, yeah.
And definitely people make the world go round. I mean, it's not machines, it's not robots, it's not technology as such. It is, after all, everything that is invented is invented. I mean, everything that we use, whatever is invented by God, Mother Nature, the earth, the moon, the stars, the sun, all that apart, everything else on earth, what we use in everyday life is invented by mankind itself. So obviously, if the human beings are not around, the world won't be the same again. So everything is made to function by human beings. Whether it's a bus, the bus won't drive itself down the roads. So the boat won't go, the cruise ship won't ply itself across the waters by itself. Similarly, machines in the factories won't run by itself. They may be automated, but still there needs to be manual checks done. There need to be human beings to operate those machines. The sales part, selling those goods, as well as sending those goods to the main markets, all that requires manpower. So if you look at that, and then of course in the world, love makes the world go round. So without that love component, what do we live for? We live for that love, to experience that love, to experience a phenomenal lifestyle, and that can't come from a machine. No matter how much you love a smartphone, for example, that smartphone is only a smartphone. It will only give you something that makes your life more meaningful, more worthwhile, if it is connecting you to the things that you love. So on its own, the smartphone is useless. It's just a piece of plastic and metal which is useless. But only when you are able to connect to the world around you, your friends, your family, other resources that will make your life more meaningful and enrich it, that's when the smartphone is useful. So these guys, they thought of something years ago. In 1971, as Kirti says, if she's right, this was released. So people make the world go round, not just in 1971, but in 2019 too. The smartphone is only a smartphone. It's a worthless piece of crap without the people to operate it and to serve you with information and videos such as this. Yeah, so that's a phenomenal meaning of it.
Let's get to the next song
We'll get to
quickly.
the next song very quickly.
Yes.
Thanks for watching. Do check out our Patreon page to learn more about us. The link is in the description box of this video. You can also request a tire if there's one available. But first, get to know about us. It gives you a long intro video, a profile about us that makes more sense, when you look at our reactions, listen to what we say for the first time, you may not understand where we are coming from without knowing the profile. Goodbye.
Yes. Thanks for watching this one.